Hi guys, this is gsno.com, and in the famous words of the minions, banana. We have a banana phone here. It's the Nokia 8110 4G, and it's back from the dead. The first banana phone was the one from the movie Matrix 1999, and now they made a remake. It's priced at around $80–90, in some countries even $100. It's available in yellow or black, and it's a feature phone with something called KaiOS, which offers some smarter features. So let's get to the design. Feels a bit cheap. It's plasticky, it's polycarbonate, has a pretty nice grip, and it curves on your face when you're making phone calls. Comfy button here, but a huge lack of, volume buttons. That's one thing major. Protected at IP52 standards from water drops, and a pretty good grip. Otherwise, this shell feels a bit flimsy when you're sliding the sliding part above the keys. Speaking of keys, they're a bit too flat for my taste, but I found myself loving the T9 system, and I could actually navigate pretty well in the menus on the handset after a couple of hours of usage. Now the screen you're seeing here is a 2.45-inch screen. It's a QVGA. It's got pretty poor view angles, and also not the most impressive colors in the world. You're watching a video now, or trying to. So not the best screen in the world. It feels more like an indoor screen than an outdoor screen. That's the impression. 2.45-inch, and inside we have a dual-core CPU, the Snapdragon 205 at 1.1 GHz, accompanied by 512 megabytes of RAM and 4 GB of storage, and there's also micro SD card slot. For a feature phone, I would say it doesn't suffer from much lag. I mean, it's within the reasonable level of lag, considering we're actually running, well, basically apps here. Okay, you can even show destination, you got Google Maps and so forth, so no lag basically. On the battery front, we're getting a 1500 mAh unit here. On paper, it provides 7 hours of talk time on 3G, up to 48 hours of music, up to 6.1 hours of video. In real life, you can easily get 2 or 3 days out of it. Believe me, I did, and some people can actually reach a week of usage. On the audio front, let's actually play some music, and it's actually a pleasant surprise, this one. Okay, here we go. Actually not a bad impression, pretty loud in my book. The bass is, I would say, decent. It doesn't sound broken like the Nokia 3310 did last year. We also have FM radio. The headphones are rather generic, but all in all, quite nice. You can totally forget about the camera. We do have a camera. It's a 2-megapixel one. It's got an LED flash, but I would say it's modest in the best days. We have a few samples, if you can actually find them. Messages, camera. There's also a snake here. Go to the camera. This is the interface, and you can also film in 3GPP format. And let's see what else. YouTube, assistant, and gallery. Here we go. I've taken a bunch of shots. Don't expect anything from them. They're underwhelming, and the biggest problem with them is that they're defocused. That's the biggest problem that I have. 2-megapixel LED flash, and the LED flash is actually better for tasks like, lighting stuff up when you're walking in an alley at night. Okay, we're done with the camera. On the connectivity front, well, that's probably the strong suit of the phone. It has VoLTE, it has 4G LTE, single or dual SIM versions, Wi-Fi BGN, Bluetooth 4.1, GPS, and audio jack. At the top, micro USB 2.0 port. It's got a micro and nano SIM and solid calls. And the best thing, again, is that you can actually make it your very own 4G hotspot and fuel up your tablet or phone with 4G with signal from here. On the software front, we're running on KaiOS. That's what they call it. Google invested money in this, and KaiOS is basically a hybrid of smart things applied on top of a feature phone. So it provides call log, contacts, its own store where you can find apps, utilities, social stuff. There's Twitter. I know there are a few apps, so there could be more in the future, but so far so good. There's messages, camera, snake, YouTube, Google Assistant, music, gallery, radio, browser, email, clock, video, Google Maps, calendar, settings, note, calculator, recorder, weather, and guardians. And I'm going to show you YouTube for starters, just to see how YouTube runs on a phone that costs a couple of dozens of dollars. You're basically emulating the experience from the browser and going around the clips. You tap one and play, and that's about it. This is the YouTube experience. For the website experience, it's much the same. You also have Google Assistant, believe it or not. What's the weather like?
Right now in Bucharest it's 38 and clear. Today it'll be mostly sunny with a forecast high of 65 and a low of 38.
Okay, so Google Assistant on a feature phone is quite nice to have. You also have a browser and you can also play games and take notes. There's also the weather, and I installed Guardians, a set from Snake, the new Snake. I also play with Guardians, which is a pretty generic title. And a bit trippy. Okay, we're done with that. We're quitting or trying to. There's also a recorder and a bunch of settings where you can find tweaks and apply them for Wi-Fi, sound, display, screen lock, USB storage, and more. I should also mention that you can sync your Google contacts with this phone, which is nice to see for a feature phone again. And I think it's time to see the verdict for it, because we're running on a tight ship here and there's not much else to say. I'm going to try and get into the browser and maybe access gsndome.com. So till that happens, let's give a verdict. So on the pro side, it's a funky phone for sure. Now trying to write GSM Dome. Here we go, GSM Dome. Well, we actually found it. Okay. So it's a funky phone. On the pro side, it's got an okay battery, good acoustics. It can be used as a hotspot for your 4G. It's comfy, takes some good calls, and it has surprisingly smart features for a feature phone. On the con side, a very poor camera, even for such a phone. It needs more apps and more features in the future. They can be made available. It's made of cheap plastic, which feels a bit flimsy. The keys are a bit too flat for my taste, and it doesn't have a touchscreen, which I tended to press like a crazy person. In the end, it's basically a toy. It's sort of a hotspot and music player for you. It's a conversation starter for sure when you're eating dinner with your friends. It feels less impressive than the Nokia 3310 from 2017, that's for sure. This has been the presentation and review of the Nokia 8110 4G here at gsndome.com, the banana phone. Bye bye.